What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Norris here, back with another one, another album reaction. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these episodes, this segment. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos that I'm putting out. All the music, got lots more to come, of course. Slay Station this Friday on all platforms, everywhere where I post my music. 8-track mixtape, that's set for this Friday, 12 o'clock in the morning, right on the dot. I got a music video that I released a few days ago, Slay Station 4. That's up on my YouTube page. Go ahead and watch that if you haven't already. Plenty more music to come right afterwards. I got another big time project that I'll be dropping closer to the end of the year, maybe around like September, October area. It's another major project similar to the internet. After Slay Station, I'll be dropping singles again. So starting from July 4th, that'll be the first day. I'll continue the singles, more music after that. So I'll be dropping all year long. Just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We got a new album for today, Vince Staples' Dark Times. This is an album he released 2 weeks ago, brand new album from this year. I'm gonna break it down, go over the whole album, how I personally feel about it, critique it on a musical standpoint, try to piece together what the album means, kind of give you guys my opinion about how good the album is, give it a rating, of course, at the end of the video. That's basically it, man. That's the episode. So I'm gonna go through a few of the tracks. Of course, just like every other episode, I listen to the album before I record the video. I went through all 14 tracks of the album. I got a rating for it and everything. I'll go through a couple of the songs with you guys, just like 5 to 10 seconds of those songs, just like a few of them, to give you guys a little snippet of what the album sounds like. Vince Staples' Dark Times, starting with the first track. This is Government Cheese.
Running through these bank, no stressing as the waves roll by. Keep my fade low, I can't let the grades grow. Just another day closer to my demise. Keep that gang round, it's the ones that stay down. Let us see their face smile, let us see their...
Alright, and this one is Justin.
Teacher 7 months left on the visa, but she used to be a singer. She was meant to be a star. Ask me how I feel about the music I done dropped. Some of it was cool, some of it was hot.
This one's Black and Blue.
Choppers and luxury vehicles, living like Saudi Arabia. Learn economics and ran it up. We don't got nothing to show for. Infatuated with folklore. We still on some nigga shit.
This one's Radio.
Radio when it's nothing to lose. Back when niggas had the rhythm and blues. I turned up my hustle, I turned up my section, I turned up my...
no, this one will be the last one. Freeman.
Invested. I turned the set into a movie set for all of the kids to see who you can be if you believe you bigger than this. Don't be no crab in the bucket, be a crip at the wrist. Them crackers...
Alright, we'll stop there. Before I get into my reaction, Vince Staples from Long Beach, California, mostly known for working with Odd Future and Earl Sweatshirt. I'm pretty sure the biggest reason why he became famous in the first place was because Earl Sweatshirt and Odd Future. For me, that's how I found out about him. So I think that was the biggest reason why he blew up in the first place. He started to like build up a solo career. After that, he started to pick up more buzz worldwide, all around the world, and now he's an established name, a pretty big artist now in today's hip-hop world. Doesn't really work with Earl Sweatshirt as much as he should, in my opinion, because I think when those two rappers work with each other, it's always like such a sick track, such a dope track. But it's mostly solo, especially on this album here. He doesn't make his own beats, so he's working with a lot of producers on this one. I think it's like a couple of singers that he has featured here, but for the most part, it's really just him all throughout the album. I'll start off with the production. I think the beats are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, man. I think the beats were very well done, and that's been the story all year long. Most of the albums that I've been doing so far this year, the production's like on another level. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on, but like producers, they've been snapping this year, man. I swear, producers, they're like reaching levels that like I didn't think we'd be able to get to in some ways. We're getting some beats that like I'm just like, bro, what is this? And this album is a perfect example of that. There's a handful of beats on here where I'm just like, I never heard anything like this before, man. The beats are definitely on another level on this one, and it's not all of them. Some of them are a little too generic for me to like give that type of criticism, to give them that level of a compliment. And it's only a few beats on here where I feel that way. For the rest of the beats, 12 out of the 14 beats, maybe 11 out of the 14 beats, just on another level, man. I'd probably give it like a high 9s out of 10 if it was just about the beats on here. It's like a perfect balance of experimental, also just straight up good, accessible for like more people to like listen to. It's kind of tough to like get people to want to listen to experimental beats because it's like harder to listen to, harder to dance to, just like a lot of things about experimental beats that most producers try to stay away from, so that it's easier to sell their music, it's easier to work with other artists for that same reason. It's the main reason why a lot of producers will stick to generic sounding beats. It gives you more listens and you can gain more fans that way too. Here, I feel like the producers, and it's multiple producers working on this, it's not just one producer. That's another reason why the production on this album's like really, really good. Usually when rappers work with multiple producers, you'll come up with a better album production wise. I think the producers on here did a really good job at balancing experimental, making the beats sound as distinctive as possible compared to what's been done before. So they got that going on, and they're balancing it out with like making it generic enough so that it's more accessible for people to like want to hear and dance to. And that's what it is to me. Like, the beats are different, they're good enough for a large amount of people to collectively want to dance to like want to listen to again. You know what I'm saying? Just like more memorable too. The main reason why I'm giving the production on this album a lot of credit. So that's the production. Now, in terms of rapping, man, I think Vince Staples is, to me, he's always been one of those rappers that's extremely lyrical, relies heavily on lyrics, the stuff that he's saying to like make the song even stronger than what it is. He's a very skilled lyricist, but the only thing, I think he didn't really show that on this album. In my personal opinion, I feel like he was holding back just a bit. There's a couple of songs on here, I'll say maybe 4 out of the 14 songs, you'll hear Vince Staples rapping at the level that you remember him rapping at when he first came up with like Earl Sweatshirt and Odd Future. No one knew who he was, and he's getting all these features with a lot of the members and Earl Sweatshirt. They're listening to him rap and you're just like, yo, who's this like mega lyricist, just like almost like another Earl Sweatshirt in a lot of ways, right? The style that he was coming with on this album, it doesn't like sound like he's matching the same level that he used to rap with. Here, maybe he's thinking more on a business perspective in terms of like selling the music and trying to make as much money, trying to gain as much clout as possible off of the record, opposed to making an album that people are gonna like respect him for and call it a classic and call him one of the top 10. Because at this point, I don't think Vince Staples is one of those rappers that cares about being the best rapper, but at the same time, he has the skill and the lyricism to be the best rapper, but he doesn't really showcase that on this album. I feel like he was going more for a like not like selling out type of style, but a style that's more accessible for the general public to enjoy, rather than making a bar for bar mixtape style album for like the hip hop heads and like the underground fans, maybe even his like day one fans that fell in love with his music when he was starting out with like Earl Sweatshirt and Odd Future and all those guys. I feel like he was just kind of like flow into the beat. A lot of the styles that he was coming with didn't really match the style of the beat that was being thrown at him, in my opinion. It's for the majority of the album, but there's a few songs where I think he went off and like, yo, this is crazy. Like, there's 3 or 4 songs on here that make me feel like that. Even the meaning behind what he's talking about, a lot of the metaphors and similes that he's using, the subliminal messages underneath them, does a good job at making you understand them without being too simple at the same time. That's when I think Vince Staples is at his best. You know what I'm saying? When he has the ability to be a lyricist, make everyone understand what he's talking about at the same time, and talk about something that can be life-changing. You know what I mean? There's a very boring element to like the style that he came with on this album. It's just very dry and very boring compared to what you're used to hearing from him in the past. He's that type of rapper. He's like more of like a poetic rapper where you gotta really listen to like his lyrics to get the full like metaphor, and it's sort of like Earl Sweatshirt in a lot of ways. He's a lot like Earl Sweatshirt. They don't really rap the same, but in terms of like being a poetic rapper, they're very similar. He shows that a lot throughout this album. Gives me like boring, dry vibes, you know what I'm saying, compared to like what we've been getting throughout this year in terms of hip hop. But at the same time, there's 3 to 4 songs on here where it's like the complete opposite, and he's doing what he's supposed to do with the style of beat he's given. He's matching up the energy with his own like metaphors and similes. Everything is just working in the song. I feel like there's 3 to 4 songs like that on this album, in my opinion. But every other song just sounds like he's just kind of like coasting through the beat. The style that he's coming with doesn't really match the energy that the beat's coming with. Like, you're getting this crazy fire beat that's like standing out so much on the track, and the energy that you're coming with is just kind of like boring, and you know what I mean? Just sounds like he's just like on the track just to be on the track, rather than really making his presence heard on the track. It really just sounds like he's trying to be as generic as possible on most of the songs on the album so that he can sell the record easier. He has to play it safe in some ways. For the most part, like, because the album is very artsy sounding, more poetic sounding, like I enjoyed the album for the most part. I just think Vince Staples, he held back just a bit, I think, and he's far more lyrical, a far better rapper than what's shown on this album, in my opinion. I feel like he can go a lot harder than that, so that's my only thing. Lyrically, it's not as good as I thought it was gonna be. I'll definitely say that, but he's got some good messages all throughout the album. Like, you listen to what he's saying, and he's saying some life-changing stuff, you know what I mean? A lot of lessons that you can learn throughout the stories that he's basically trying to articulate through the song, through the beat. Nobody should be surprised by that, because Vince Staples, like I said, he's more of like a poetic style rapper rather than like a rapper that's just trying to bar up, more like an Earl Sweatshirt. I like the beats, man. I think the beats are next level, very futuristic styles. In terms of ratings, this one, I probably give this album a 7.3 out of 10. I thought I was gonna give it a way higher rating just off of the ratings that I've been seeing all throughout the internet, the way people have been talking about the album, the type of rapper Vince Staples is. I thought I was gonna give it a lot higher of a rating, but I think 7.3. The production is what's keeping the rating like that high, to be completely honest. Just a little too boring, a little too dry for me, man. I've heard the same style, the same poetic, artsy style used, but done at a far better level. You know what I mean? It's not the first time I've heard this style of an album. It's kind of like giving me a little bit Shabazz Palace's vibes with his one album that I reacted to. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. The Shabazz Palace's album, I gave a 9.6 out of 10. So there's a lot more music going on the way he did it. This is just, I don't know, man. He needs to rap a lot more on this one, bro. 7.3 out of 10. Vince Staples, Dark Times. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for the next mixtape, Slay Station, coming June 14th, later this week, Friday, 12 o'clock, right on the dot. I'll post the songs on my YouTube channel. Everywhere you'll be able to find it, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, share. Yeah, man, I'm out of here, bro. I'm done. Peace.